Okay guys, another semi-beautiful day here in the mountains of Tennessee. Gonna do another test today on a detector. Today we're gonna be testing the Teknetics T2 SE. I was lucky enough to be given this machine by a friend of mine. We hunted one day and he let me borrow it. I enjoyed it and he gave it to me. So it pays to have good friends, I guess. But anyway, I want to talk real quick about the setup of the machine. Okay, for the settings for the Teknetics, I will run the sensitivity up as high as I can without interference. For today's purposes, we'll run it at about 90. The discrimination level, I usually keep that down pretty low, about 10 or lower, even 0 at times if I'm in a good area, just so that I know I'm not missing anything. If it starts to drive you crazy, you can crank it up, depending on what targets you're willing to eliminate. For today's purposes, let's run it at about 10. And then for the number of tones, I, in a Civil War area, will run it up to this DP mode. And it's supposed to give you some more depth, and in fact it does. And we'll show that in just a second. I'll show you, in fact, that it does. But if I'm in a trashy area, I will run this in 2+ mode. So that's the setup. Today we're going to be running it in the BP mode, the boost mode, and again I'm going to show you right now how much of a difference that can make. A couple inches of depth, so let's get right into it. Sync. Okay, first to show how this boost mode increases your depth, let's start with it on 2+ mode, and I'm just going to do this with one target. It applies to any target. But we're going to do this with a War of 1812 Navy button. So here it is, 6 inches, 8 inches. Gets a little weak at 8 inches. If we go to 10 inches, it's gone. Essentially gone to this machine. Definitely gone at 12 inches. So let's turn it to boost mode real quick and try the same test. Okay, now we're in boost mode, and this is the same button, exact same Navy button. Let's just start at 10 inches. 12 inches. 13. 14. 15. So as you can see, you're getting quite a few extra inches of depth when you run it in that mode. So that's how we're going to be running it today. So let's just keep moving along with the test. These are the same relics I used in some of my other tests. We just tested that War of 1812 Navy button. Let's try a cut piece of silver, Spanish silver, 8 real, 4 inches, 6 inches, 8 inches, 10 inches, 12 inches. Okay, here's a large cent, 4 inches, 6 inches, 8 inches, 10 inches, 12 inches, 13, 15, pretty much gone at 15. Okay, here's a cast eye, Confederate cast eye, brass button, 4 inches, 6 inches, 8 inches, 10 inches, 12 inches. Okay? Here's an eagle button, general service, 4 inches, 6 inches, 8 inches, 10 inches, 12 inches, 14. Pretty much gone around there. Here's a Spanish cob, old Spanish silver, 4 inches, 6 inches, 8 inches, 10 inches, 1 foot. Pretty much gone. Here's a gold ring I found in a Civil War camp at 4 inches, 6 inches, 8 inches, 10 inches, 12 inches. Alright, so that does pretty good. Here's an 1854 Seated Liberty half dime. 4 inches, 6 inches, 8 inches, 10 inches, 12 inches. That's pretty good on that. Here's a script die, Confederate, local, 4 inches, 6 inches, 8 inches, 10 inches, 12 inches, 14 inches. So that does pretty good on that. Now let's move on to some relics. Alright, here's a Yankee spur my buddy Jeff Bailey found and gave to me. This is at 4 inches, 6 inches, 8 inches, 10 inches, 12 inches, 14. Okay, let's move on. Here is a fuse from a Hotchkiss shell. It's a percussion fuse at 4 inches, 6 inches, 8 inches, 10 inches, 12 inches, 14, 16 inches. Pretty good on that. Here is a iron stirrup. It says 4 inches, overload, 6 inches, 8 inches, 10 inches, 12 inches, 15 inches, 16. Looks like it'll go to about 20 inches on that. Pretty good. Here's an iron butt plate. This is off a carbine rifle. 4 inches, 6 inches, 8, 10, 12, 16. Okay, that's pretty good on that. Here is a carbine sling buckle, brass, 4 inches, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Starts to break up around 14 inches. Here's an infield trigger guard, brass, from an infield rifle, 4 inches, 6 inches, 8 inches, 10, 12, starts to peter out around there. Alright, here is a Confederate sword hanger. It's brass at 4 inches, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 15. Pretty much going around 14, 15 inches. Here's a Confederate frame buckle, Georgia frame buckle, cast, brass, gutter back, 4 inches, 6, 8, 10 inches, 1 foot, 15 inches, 18 inches, 20 plus. So it'll read that at about 20 some odd inches. Okay, let's move into some lead. Here's a 69 caliber 3-ring bullet, 4 inches, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, looks like 13 inches is about the max on that. Here's a 58 caliber 3-ringer, 4 inches, 6 inches, 8 inches, 10 inches, 12 inches. Okay, I had to do a little bit of an angle change. The light's fading, so sorry guys. Last targets I want to test are some artillery. This is a base cup off a Hotchkiss shell at 4 inches, 6 inches, 8 inches, 10, 12, 14, 15, 18 plus. 18. 18 is a pretty good limit on that. And now for a full Hotchkiss shell. Let's start at the overload. 4 inches, 6, 8, 10, 12, 15, 16, 18. Now, when I'm hunting for a big iron like this, I would go ahead and turn the discrimination down to about 10. So let's try that real quick. Or I'd turn it down to 0 actually. I'm sorry, it's on 10. If I was hunting big iron, I'd have it on 0, and this is why. You get a much more repetitive signal with that discrimination on 0, even way out here at 20 plus inches. So if I was hunting big iron and using the T2, I would have my discrimination down on 0. So anyway, hopefully that'll help you guys out. And if you like the video, subscribe. And if you'd like me to test another machine in this manner, just leave a comment below, and I'll hopefully get my hands on one of those machines and run the test for you. So we'll see you next time, and happy hunting.